Hey guys, welcome. So in this video we're going to be talking about different types of joins that you can use in Tableau Prep. Of course, it follows the same logic as joins that you would find in SQL, for example, in other databases. And so it's really all the same logic here, and we're going to learn how to implement it into Tableau Prep. So, if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask me. So let's just jump right into it. So we're going to add a connection. I have some text files I want. This record and also this one at the same time. Nice, I have them both here. So in the previous video we did a union on them, and remember, a union is adding the data together, whereas a join, you're gonna combine the data based on a related column between them, right? And so there's different types of joins, and we'll jump into it. Let's see what the first one here is. So let's say that what I want to do is join my 2 million sales records to my 5 million sales records. For an overview of what I was doing here, just for bringing the data in, you can watch the previous videos. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 2 million sales records, bring it over here, and not union, we're going to put them on join, and it'll automatically create the join one here. Let's quickly just rename it for easier purposes. We'll call it sales records. Yeah, the sales records, the final sales records. So I'll click on that, and while this is loading for the preview, over here on the left side in the settings, you can see what kind of joins we're going to be working with. So this equal sign is basically which columns that you're going to be joining these records on. And so this can be done by an ID. This can be done by something that relates both of these tables together. In this case, they're not very different. In another video, I might have an example of where one table is very different than the other, but we only need one record from it, from example. And we'll cover that in a larger video. This is just meant to be really quick. So I do not want them to join on the units sold, because that's not really an ID number, right? That's just a value. So let's pick something like, this one's perfect right here, the order ID. And so I'm going to select the same for both. Okay. Now, so order ID is going to be my column that I'm joining with. Now let's look at the join type that we're going to be working with. So the join type that we have is automatically first, it's the inner one. So what is an inner join? So the inner join returns only the rows that have matching values on both sides. So it's only going to return the records that are matching for the first and the second one, where they're equal on order ID. And so where would you use this? This is typically like where you want to see the corresponding data in both of the tables, meaning you're trying to compare. So for example, if you have the same customers, if you want to see the same customers for the two data samples or the two data sets, then you would want to use the inner join, because you want to see only the same customer IDs, or in this case the same order IDs. And you can see that right here actually. So if you look at the first one or the second one, you can see that the order IDs are the same, so we're comparing values where the order IDs are the same. So the next type of join is called a left join. So how to do it in Tableau Prep is to simply just click right here onto the left side where it's our 5 million sales records. And so what that does is that it does a left join on all the rows from the left table and the matched rows from the right table. So it's inner join on the left right there. You can see that. You can see it's shaded in so you can see it better. And so you would use this when you want all the records from this table and including the matching ones from the center where the order IDs are matching. This can also be called a left outer join, because if you see here, it's a left outer, and if no match is found, then the null value is going to come for the records for this side. So that's kind of interesting. And this is typically what's used. Usually this is what you're looking for, where you have a main record and then you're trying to bring the matching records from the second one. If you had wanted, for example, all the records, regardless whether they equal or not, then you would have done a right join, which is done by like this. So you're going to shade the center and the right. So this is going to bring all the records So for example, if you want to bring all the customers in, whether they place an order or not, then you would want to use a right join. This is typically used less, but it can be, in some instances, pretty useful. And the last one I want to talk about is called a full outer join. So full outer join includes all of them. So you can see I highlighted the 3, and it says join type full outer. So what the full outer join is going to do is that it's going to return all the rows, whether there is a match in the left or the right table. And the rows that don't have a match in both of the tables, they're going to have null values instead in the columns, basically from the other table. Right. So for example, if you want to see all the orders, all the customers, including those that do not match, then you would want to use a full outer join. Right. So in this case, I just want to do a little bit of a left join. And so you can go down here, and the great thing about Tableau Prep is that it shows a summary of join results. You can see the mismatched values. That can be helpful if you're trying to clean up the data, so you know where you want to what you want to remove and maybe possibly not bring in. You can see that the join result has 3,145,728 records, which of course is because we're doing a left join, and the 5 million sales records was on the left, so it brings all the records from the main left side already. Okay, so that's just some join clause recommendations if you wanted to have it equal to item type instead, for example. But again, typically these are done on IDs of the table. So over here you can use this to find mismatched values. That can be useful again for when you need to clean up. So for example, you could clean up either by filtering the values, because you're going to run an output anyway on this Tableau Prep, right? You're going to create a flow, you're going to run an output. You could just filter the values here, or you could add a cleaning step, which could be very useful. You could add a cleaning step here where we decided, okay, you know what, I actually don't want all the values that are not matching on December, for example. Just going to remove that for now, keep it simple. And yeah, so that's, you can use, this is a really nice feature that you can identify the duplicate rows. Again, this is excellent for when you want to clean your results. You can add your calculated field here. For example, all orders beginning with an order ID of 100,000, you could send that towards a specific category or whatnot. And yeah, so okay, thanks for watching. I tried to keep this about just the joins. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.